Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Syakirin bin Syari and my student ID is 2020833306. In this video presentation, I will present my case study that I choose, which is lactic acid related to muscle cramp. Without any hesitation, let me clarify to you what is actually lactic acid and what it can consequence to you. First and foremost, you may have not been aware that your muscle cells can ferment. Fermentation is the process of producing ATP in the absence of oxygen through glycolysis alone. Recall that glycolysis breaks a glucose molecule into two pyruvate molecules, producing a net gain of 2 ATP and 2 NADH molecules. Lactic acid fermentation converts the 3-carbon pyruvate to the 3-carbon lactic acid and regenerates NAD+ in the process, allowing glycolysis to continue to make ATP in low oxygen conditions. Since there is a limited supply of NAD+ available in any given cell, this electron acceptor must be regenerated to allow ATP production to continue. To achieve this, NADH donates its extra electrons to the pyruvate molecules, regenerating NAD+. Lactic acid is formed by the reduction of pyruvate. Next, the problem statement of this case study is to verify accumulation of lactic acid can cause muscle cramp during vigorous exercise. Now, without wasting any time, I would like to talk regarding the discussion of this case study. To begin with, the discussion is, during intense exercise, where does lactic acid come from? Our body consumes the energy of oxygen in the presence of aerobic energy most of the day. Energy originates from sugar, which via a sequence of chemical processes termed glycolysis our muscle cells break down. Pyruvate is the last result of glycolysis. However, only in the presence of oxygen can energy be extracted from pyruvate. When there is lack of oxygen, the body turns pyruvate into lactate, which permits glucose to be broken down and converted into energy. Lactic acid is metabolized by the liver and the heart. Lactic acid levels in the body grow during activity because the liver and heart are unable to handle the waste product as rapidly as it forms. Lactic acid concentrations return to normal as soon as we stop exercising. The second discussion is, what is the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration? Initially, the primary difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is the presence or absence of oxygen during the processes. Next, aerobic respiration after glycolysis occurs in the mitochondria of eukaryotes and the cytoplasm of prokaryotes. Meanwhile, anaerobic respiration occurs only in the cytoplasm of a cell. Moreover, the end products of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide, water, and energy. A total of 38 ATPs are produced. As for anaerobic respiration, the products from are lactic acid, carbon dioxide, and energy. A total of 2 ATPs are produced in anaerobic respiration. Finally, the difference between these two types of respiration is the chemical equation. For the aerobic respiration, 1 molecule of glucose react with 6 molecules of oxygen to produce 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and energy. However, in anaerobic respiration, only 1 molecule of glucose will produce 1 molecule of lactic acid, 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, and energy are released. Thirdly, in aerobic respiration, what is the last electron acceptor? Here is my explanation for this discussion. Most ATP generated during the cellular respiration of glucose is made by oxidative phosphorylation. Furthermore, an electron transport system is composed of a series of membrane-associated protein complexes and associated mobile accessory electron carriers. In the electron transport system is embedded in the cytoplasmic membrane of prokaryotes and the inner mitochondrial membrane of eukaryotes. Each electron transport system complex has a different redox potential, and electrons move from electron carriers with more negative redox potential to those with more positive redox potential. To carry out aerobic respiration, a cell requires oxygen as the final electron acceptor, and at the end of the electron transport system is an oxygen molecule that becomes reduced to water by the final electron transport system carrier. Fourthly, even when the acid is breathing oxygen, why does lactic acid form? During intense exercise, the muscles in our body cannot get enough oxygen and thus perform more glycolysis than the body can transfer oxygen to the electron transport chain. This results in anaerobic respiration due to insufficient oxygen in our muscle. When oxygen is limited, the body temporarily converts pyruvate into a substance called lactate, which allows glucose breakdown and thus energy production to continue. The working muscle cells can continue this type of anaerobic energy production at high rates for 1 to 3 minutes, during which time lactate can accumulate to high levels. This type of anaerobic respiration is called lactic acid fermentation that produces just 2 ATPs per glucose molecules, which is not as much as in aerobic respiration, which produces 38 ATP. Lactic acid fermentation in muscles results in the accumulation of lactic acid in the tissues, which leads to sore muscles. Because less energy is produced per glucose molecule during an aerobic respiration than aerobic respiration, this results in weakness and shortness of breath. Last but not least, is the accumulation of lactic acid influenced by gender or body size? The answer is no. Accumulation of lactic acid do not influence by gender or body size. Instead, it is determined by activity intensity performed. High-intensity exercise training contributes to the production and accumulation of blood lactate, which is cleared by active recovery. As a conclusion, anaerobic respiration is a process that generating ATP without presence of oxygen. Obviously, we figure out that accumulations of lactic acid can cause muscle cramp. As an example, muscle discomfort and cramps symptoms of lactic acid accumulation. Lactic acid buildup due to exercise is usually temporary and not cause for a lot of concern, but it can affect your workouts by that causing discomfort. Moreover, to reduce the effect of lactic acid, there are several ways we can practice, such as stay hydrated, train your breathing technique, doing stretches, and rest between workouts. Here are the references I used in my case study. Thank you for listening to my video, and let's hope the COVID-19 pandemic will end soon so that we can meet each other in semester 3. Goodbye.